Hey all, just a pre-warning. This video sucks. I've honestly, I've tried to remake it like 10 times. I'm not kidding, like 10 times now. Each time it sucks worse. So this is the least sucky of the takes, but still, it's bad. In short, while I didn't fully resolve my issues with YouTube, it's at a point now where I'm gonna get rid of some videos that I previously posted and follow some new rules for how I post videos in the future. And we'll be back with a Sorry Atari next week. And of course, I'll be on the live stream on Sunday. So I don't know. You can probably just skip the rest of this crap now. Well, hello there, real gamers. Retro Rob here. Take 30, something like that. And as the title says, I'll be back soon. As early as next week, I'll start uploading content again. It'll be at a slower rate, however. Basically, in a nutshell, what happened is I reached an impasse with YouTube because I uploaded a video about basically loading Pico 8 software onto a emulation handheld, and they sent a warning that it violated their harmful or dangerous content policy, which I'll probably read it shortly, parts of it shortly, just to show you that I did violate it. But anyway, I want to point out that it was licensed software, and I was using it in the way it was intended because it was basically it was software that was meant to basically run on any platform that you loaded it on, and I had properly licensed it and encouraged others to license it very clearly in the video and put a link to it. Anyway, I got tagged with that. I contacted support. I asked them specifically, like, what got this flagged, and they could not answer the question. I kept asking them also, so which part of the harmful or dangerous content policy do you feel that I broke? They did at least get me to the digital security content. And that part just, it didn't apply. Again, I'll go into that later. I mean, it applies, but doesn't apply because I didn't break the digital security content policy. But anyway, so after this conversation, I said, look, I've got at least 50 videos like this, and this was in the conversation with them. I can just get tagged tomorrow for all these. If you don't let me know what the problem is, how am I supposed to correct it? And at that point, I was so frustrated because I figured, I've been on here for 15 years. Now I'm getting flagged for something that I don't feel that did not violate their policy. At least, in my opinion, did not violate their policy. They weren't going to back off on it. And I basically don't want to upload new videos if they're just going to arbitrarily tag them and not tell me why. So anyway, I put up the video a couple days ago that, hey, I'm probably going to have to get off of YouTube because of this. And by the way, thank you so much for all the outpour of support. I really appreciate it because I was kind of surprised at how much this has stressed me out because even my wife was like, man, dude, you are stressed out. You got to relax. I didn't know it would bother me that much, to be honest. I guess, you put 15 years into something that bothers you, but usually I'm kind of whatever, on to the next thing kind of guy. But I'll admit it bothered me a bit. But anyway, some YouTubers also stepped forward, and I had posted the video that I posted here. I also posted on archive.org, and some of them reviewed it and told me that basically they didn't feel it violated the policy either. However, they pointed out some elements of the video that were very consistent with videos that do violate the policy. And once they mentioned it, yeah, I could see it. I didn't violate the policy as such, but it did look a lot like it. And, you got to remember, YouTube support isn't experts in this area necessarily. I'm sure there's some that are better than others. But remember, they do all sorts of videos, not just video game videos. They don't know everything about the licensing for this stuff. They don't know that Pico 8 is a licensed product. So you can understand how under review, um, it could still fail, if they didn't know the nuances of it. I get that. So with that in mind, I went back to YouTube support. And this is one piece of advice I'm going to give you. If you've had that video reviewed like 2-3 times and it's failed 2 or 3 times, just don't refer to the video anymore. Let it go. It's not coming back. You're not gonna suddenly convince them to change their minds. The best thing to do is take some lessons from that video and ask them questions, and that's exactly what I did. I asked them about certain types of videos and whether they are more or less likely to be flagged. Remember, I did not use the absolute. I didn't say if I post a video about this, are you going to flag it? Because they won't answer that question. They'll answer the question, is it more likely to be flagged? And they were very nice about that. I also asked about some elements. Are they more likely to get you flagged as well? They indicated that, yeah, more likely, So they're pretty useful on that once I got my questions right. So that's 2 things I would recommend. Number 1, let that video go. Quit asking direct questions about the video that they blocked, because that's already over, and they will not answer direct questions. They will not, like, if you say go to the 5-minute mark and look at this part, is this the part? They won't answer that. So do that. And then, come up with questions that are a little bit more general that they can answer and work from there. So basically what I learned, and remember, this is from the questions that I asked and the responses that I got. So there's some conjecture here. So don't take this as the absolute truth, but I would take the advice that if you cover emulation handhelds, I would say that your chances of getting flagged on a video are much higher than average. I would definitely say if you got Nintendo in there, there's a good chance. So far, I've taken the tack that, hey, I'm covering this. This is journalistic in nature. And I think that's fair enough to say, except when I get to the point where if I'm showing you how to put new ROMs on, technically that violates bypassing payment for digital content or services, which is the area where they got me, which, by the way, the video they flagged did not violate. But I'm going to read it to you real quick. Bypassing payment for digital content or services says that content that shows viewers how to get unauthorized access to content, software or services that usually require payment. And ROMs would go under that heading. Usually you got to pay for the game. So the ROM does bypass it. So showing people how to load up ROMs and where to get them from would be a definite no-no. I would say it does. They've been kind of turning an eye to it, but it does. However, in the case of my video, I did not do that. Mine was an authorized use. However, I don't see how they could tell the difference, honestly, without any expertise in the area. So that's it. So the changes on the channel that are going to happen are, and you might have noticed them already if you rewatch any of my videos. Who would? But I've started taking down most of my unauthorized emulation videos. So in other words, if it's a handheld that isn't licensed, I'm probably not going to be covering it anymore. I've got one more to do, and I'm going to try and do it without doing any copyright infringement, which I think that's going to be like really, that's going to be fun to do. I think that's going to be an exciting video to watch, but it'll be my last video on that topic. Evercade's fine because that's licensed. Other forms of emulation where it's okay is absolutely fine. But I think that while the video I did not violate, I think that some of the ones where I showed you how to get software onto it could be construed that way. So I'm going to take them off just for safety's sake, and I'm going to avoid emulation in general. And not in general, but I mean avoid unlicensed emulation in general. And if you're a channel that's just starting up, I'd highly recommend that you definitely avoid showing people how to add like new ROMs or new software onto them, because that appears to be a no-no at this point. And to be honest, on the emulation front, Nintendo's going after everybody. And, you know, sooner or later, it's going to be Sega, you know? Sooner or later, right? Sooner or later, it's going to be Sony, you know? So, because all of them have the same concerns. So might as well nip it in the bud now, you know? I'd be hard pressed. I'm not saying don't do it, but I'm saying, yeah, you're running a higher risk than average. So anyway, that's it. Things like Sorry Atari, all the retro modern videos, pretty much most of my content over the last couple years is unaffected by this. But the emulation stuff is definitely, I'm sorry, unlicensed emulation stuff is definitely a no-go from now on this channel. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Let me know your opinion. What do you think about this? You know, it's been kind of stressful, I'll admit it. Anyway, I'll see you guys Sunday if you watch the live stream. If not, I'll see you next week. Bye.